Hey guys, it's Talking coming at you with another game of hardcore Minecraft. The gusts are flying, the cherry trees are on the hills as always. Groot smiles on our day, and we are gonna go do an archaeology, more or less. We're gonna bring some glass. You always want some glass for archaeology. We could just make some out there. We'll take this. You know, you might say, why would you need glass for archaeology? Well, there's not a literal reason, dude, but you'll need it all the same. Alright, we're just gonna throw some of this stuff into chests. It's stuff, not junk, because it's mine. The spyglass needs to go back in here. We can, you know, it's not ideal. We'll just bring the raw beef with us and snack on that. That's super reasonable. No reason not to do that. And yeah, let's get going. Oh yeah, the shards. Well, actually, you know, we should have the shards with us if we want to do a thing there. Maybe. No, we'll leave them here. After all, they belong in a museum. It's just an irresistibly dumb joke for me. Well, not a dumb joke, just an easy one. But we're just gonna get to it. Right? Maybe we should have made the pickaxe. Nah. Nah, we can just come back if we need to. It's not that far. It doesn't take but a minute or two to fly out there. And of course, gives us the opportunity to look at the beautiful world that Minecraft has allotted us here on day 591. I think everybody should play hardcore. No, probably not. Not everybody would find it appealing, right? And there can be dramatic emotional swings in hardcore, which, if you're not like personally accustomed to a bunch of dramatically emotional swings in your everyday life, might be jarring to some sorts of gamer. But you know, if you play hardcore, you get to see the most worlds. At least until you get better at the game. And I think that's a great feature. Alright, do we have any sticks? No, we're gonna need some of them. Let's just four shovels should be good for a bit. Alright, so one thing I need to do is get on this whole, like, mud bricks thing, because they look really cool, but it's super annoying to get mud, so I just need to figure out a way to do it better. It's not like a huge priority, but they look very awesome. Ow, we have fallen once again. It'll be okay. We'll be able to get up. You'll see. Lord bro, you say I should try getting a mace soon? Oh, I have one. It's sitting in a box at home. Yeah, I got one, oh, ages ago. I don't remember when. A while back. Many hundreds of days. At least like 200 or 300 days ago of in-game time. I can only be so confident about that because I know what I've been doing the last long chunk of time because I finally started actually making stuff in Minecraft. And not just digging a very long canal, although that was very important. Yeah, I haven't done everything in the game, but I've done a whole lot of it now. There's a decently large amount of advancements that I don't have yet that I definitely could get, right? Can we look at advancements while it's paused? Yes. Like this charge a respawn anchor to the maximum. I don't know what that is. It can't be hard to do, right? You know, bring a beacon to full power. I have a bunch of gold, you know, whatever. I've never done that before, but it can't be that hard to do. Have every potion effect applied at the same time? I don't care. I don't want to do that, you know, that kind of thing. But we've got, you know, strike a villager with lightning. We could probably figure out how to do that. You know, there's a bunch of stuff I haven't done yet. But, we've done a lot of all of the things. I was cracking on the advancements for a bit. I could do so. I don't need a point. I could play while I talk. That would be a sight. But I sort of, you know, as with many things in life, my specific interest in playing that way waned, and I was like, okay, that was fun getting some, but it was like tame every wolf, and I'm like, I don't care. I don't know where they're all at. The respawn anchors are just don't do it in the overworld. Gotcha. Because that's like the bed for the nether, right? Is the respawn anchor. Or the equivalent of a bed in the nether, because if you use the beds there, then bad things happen. I presume. Oh, I left the brush. We finally found a suspicious one here, though. Ooh. You know, there's not anything... I shouldn't say that. We need all of the stuff from here. And they got like this awesome little cauldron thing, which is excellent. That's a suspicious one. I need to just go get a brush. I shouldn't keep on playing around like this. And yet, I mean, I'm already here. There's a bunch of chunks there. Yeah, anyway. We're gonna do the responsible thing. And just finish this little room. But, you know, I need to, like, tame every cat, but the only one that I think is hard to find, I've got. I just, you know, haven't done all of them. And there's, like, some frog-related ones that I've never done before that seem like they might be a little bit strange to achieve, but, you know. You said you've heard some rumors there's going to be suspicious dirt, but to you it's all suspicious. That would be a monstrous change. You'd have to squint at the dirt, just like it was gravel or sand. Of course, in these ruins, it's all gravel. There's no suspicious sand here. Is the granite part of the proper superstructure? It seems sort of high up for granite. Nah, it can't be. What can be is my ability to get sort of stuck down here. Fortunately, I can fly, so we will just bonk our head a little bit. Brilliant! That went so well. Anyway, we got our brush now. It's about to be nighttime. We have got plenty of rockets, so we're just gonna lay down. You don't want creepers to interrupt your archaeological digs. After all, you could have a really bad time that way. We're just gonna trim down some of this here. And inadvertently let the water in? No, not yet. Alright, good. Brilliant. Because of course the more you trim it back, the prettier it is. You know, you gotta remove all the things that obscure the beauty of the central tower. That is the way of trail ruin excavation. At least as I practice it. Hi, Liam. This is Minecraft, buddy. You know Minecraft. You know, you walk around, you look real handsome. You put armor on, it doesn't always look exactly like this. You know, Minecraft. Oh, sorry. This specific thing, the trail ruins, they're not brand new. They were out either a year ago or just about. I think they were in the update that I started playing in. They're called Trail Ruins. I don't know everything about them. They're very cool. You can find a disc in them and, you know, pottery shards and stuff. But yeah, so this, in my survival world, I have one that I, like, I sort of ruined a lot of it because I didn't understand a lot and I like, broke all the cobblestone. But this is also, like, kind of a better one than that one. But, yeah, so this... The trail ruin would have been the first thing I would have found, besides, like, a shipwreck. That I was just like, wow, and yeah, and I pulled the whole thing apart, and I, you know, uncovered it. So you can see a little bit of terracotta. It'll just sort of, like, peek out into the tops of taiga, and that's where I find them. I don't know, like, where all they spawn. I've only ever found them in spruce forests, either taiga. They might be in snowy ones, I don't know. I've never found one there, but I found one in old growth taiga and then in regular, like, you know, spruce taiga like this one. And I just basically walk around until I, until you see some terracotta, because the central tower peeks out above the level of the ground, right? So you walk through. You think it'd be cool to refurbish or something? Exactly, that is the plan. My other one, I've dug the whole thing out and I built like a big wall, like, because it abuts an ocean in my survival world where I built my little anthropology of the Terracotta People Museum. But this one, I want to populate it, like I want to rebuild it and sort of do that kind of thing. But yeah, so you walk by, you see like a little bit of terracotta, you dig down, and then you hit a layer of glazed terracotta, and that's when like, whenever I first found one, my eyes really lit up, because I was like, oh wow, this is cool. You know, the terracotta, I was like, this could have been anything, but now it looked like, people definitely got this. And then it's got, you know, it's the archaeology thing, so you use a brush, and you find suspicious gravel, which you can tell by its mottled pattern, which I will point out when we find one right here. So, if you're not familiar, so the suspicious gravel has like a darker center, right? If you look at this one in the very center and all these other gravel blocks, you'll note that the center is much paler in general and doesn't appear to have like a sort of depth to it, and that's the suspicious thing. There's other markers on them that are also present, but that's how I identify it, because that dark center is much more noticeable than all the other stuff that you might do. And then you just give it a little brushy brush, and you get, you know, like stained glass or other things. If you note that I was using a stone shovel, that's because it breaks very easily, like pottery shards and stuff. It breaks very easily, so if you use like a high efficiency diamond shovel, you'll just churn through all of it, and then you'll break the interior things, and you wouldn't be able to get the cool armor trims and pottery shards and the like. Also, if it falls down one level, it'll break, and what's inside will go. So, like right here, this is a suspicious one, but it's on top of that one, so we have to make sure to not hit the one underneath it. He said Zach's quite epic. Yes, I agree. So, whenever I did my first excavation, I was trying to learn so much, but I didn't even know that you could brush, because this is before I did streaming at all. You know, I was just making videos every now and then whenever I like did something that I thought was cool, or like, you know, finished learning something, or, you know, I was like, hey, I'm building a canal, you know, that kind of thing. Hey, I was recording and I found a cat, or whatever. And so there's no one to tell me, you know, hey, you're supposed to brush, and I was trying to like pretend to be like an anthropology student that was like, you know, doing my archaeology and learning about the place, and actually I was destroying it, which is pretty funny, realistic to the real world too. You know, don't do untrained archaeology, kids. Hopefully I'm not the first person to tell you that. But yeah, so you carefully go through, and as you expose the rock, you know, you get there's stone, but you chip it away, and you have like cobblestone, which you're supposed to leave, and I didn't leave in the other one. And these stone bricks along the way, so it sort of like shows you the potential of various things. And there's like one there's a tower that looks sort of like a big terracotta kiln, like here with this these bricks. Like maybe it goes down a lot further, and it's actually like sort of a large-ish structure. And this time I'm going to try to do a better job of preserving it. I was going to do this in a previous hardcore world, but I fell down and died. So, you know, now we have to do it here instead. But you'll think, like, oh, okay, I guess we got it, and then you'll realize, oh, that's like just one of the towers, and you got like a whole wing that you can open up into. I think they're very interesting. Probably the most interesting of all the places. They just... Because a bunch of the other, like, ruins and stuff, they don't stir in me the inspiration that there was, like, a lost civilization here specifically, right? Whereas this feels very much like the story of an ancient place. No, that's not true. There is one other place. So Trial Ruins sort of do, but the presence of all the enemies sort of make it, you know, more artificial, if you will. But there are, like, weird, like, rooms that look like trial rooms that don't have, like, the trial spawners and stuff. That just are, like, underground, that have, like, a bunch of copper and stuff. It looks sort of like steampunk dwarfish, I suppose. And and I found like one of them ever, and they're very cool. I don't even remember where I found it. I think in my Survivor world, but again, I don't exactly recall. Day 592. Ah, man. So I need to keep track of that, because I either need to prepare for the party or leave in time to actually, like, schedule the party so, you know, so everybody can be here for it. Everybody. Eraser, yes, Trail Ruins, indeed. We are proceeding nicely with this one. It's quite beautiful. I think this one's better than the one in my Survivor world, but I also probably broke a lot of that one carelessly. I actually love this mud brick aesthetic, and I wanted to do this a few hardcore worlds ago, but I died. I fell down whenever I was exploring around doing something. I don't even think I had feather falling on my boots, you know, that old saw. This would have been a long time ago. If you're a longtime viewer and you don't remember which world that was, though, that was the one where we lived in the acacia wood treehouse over the river. Yes, welcome back to the streams, Eraser. You say you're sad now. Don't worry about that. You know, people come and go. Out of context, that could sound very dismissive. But you know, everyone has what they're looking for in a YouTube subscription, so I don't try to worry too much if the number changes. You know, it's cool when it goes up. If it goes down, I don't worry about it. I don't feel like I'm, you know, estranging people. There's probably a lot of people that wish that I would play, you know, whatever game they subscribed for, and I can get pretty focused, you know, not in a useful way, but you know, still, and that can, you know, if I'm not producing the sort of stuff that people want to see, you know, then what are you gonna do? I don't worry about it. I never ask people what they want, so when I don't give it to them, that is okay with me. Yeah, happy because your grandfather's coming back to the United Kingdom? Well, awesome. That's cool. Liam, you say, remember when I was like 600? Yeah, you know, it wasn't so long ago. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. And here I am, just messing around in Minecraft still. Hitting blocks and planting wheat, you know. Giving the people what I've always promised to give them. A look into my obsessions. Yeah, I always mean to play, like, way more games. I'm so bad at doing that. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of people that joined for Geometry Dash, which is like, it's cool. I don't always have a great time playing it, and I certainly can't like play it every day, and also like physically, because of my hands, I can't like, you know, play it constantly. But I do have fun with it, just like not always, you know, it's hard for me to manage people's expectations, right? Because like if I don't want to play hard stuff and then like recommendations are stressful, really it's like it's a game where I feel like I don't have a lot to say, right? so... I mean, I'll still talk the whole time, but there's almost nothing like, I don't know. It doesn't feel like abstractly like the kind of stuff that I want to do. Like, I like stories, right? Like, I like a game where I can experience a story or tell a story about what's going on, or, you know, like, weave a kind of narrative about stuff. Like, learn about characters, or you know, like, how I have, like, all of my various hardcore associates that pop up in the worlds and that kind of thing. Like, that's what I like to do. I like, you know, story-based games, if they're out there. And then I end up playing, you know, Geometry Dash, where I just die, like, 100,000 times. Because it was, like, fun. I just, you know, I never expected to play it for, you know, 40 or 45 streams. I just thought I would play it a couple of times. Because, like, one of my friends was like, hey, you should play that. And I'm like, yeah, cool. But it's also, like, now I'm at the point where I'm theoretically good enough to beat demons, but, like, I don't really love... Sometimes I don't really love, you know, failing at the exact same level over and over again. It can be great when you win, but man, like... It's hard to maintain a positive and cheerful attitude, you know what I mean? Especially as I'm, like, not a positive and cheerful guy. But I do, like, very much like video games, so it's like, the more stressed I am, the less I want a witness to it. Like, even if I played multiplayer games, I don't know if I would want to stream it, right? Maybe, like record it and then talk about it afterward. But I don't really play multiplayer games, because, well, you can't pause them, and sometimes I very much need to pause the game for just, like, 15 seconds and chill. We found the brick tower. And these places are just so cool, because, like, you expand and expand, and then whenever you finally get it all dug out, you're like, wait, this is immense, this is so interesting of a thing. Yes, and me and my chatter's yapping. I do not know why you typed it twice. I wasn't going to bother you about it. I figured it was probably an accident. But yeah, but that's the thing, is, like, you know, if I just need to figure out, like, the logistics of playing Geometry Dash better. Because if I don't want to play one hard level over and over again, then I should be, you know, engaging in more different levels. But that just stresses me out because people spam me. I need to figure out a way to do it in a way that's more aligned with my gaming priorities, right? Because it is a lot of fun sometimes. And sometimes it's not fun, so I stop playing, you know. That's who I am. If I'm not having fun in a game, it's one thing if I get frustrated. If I'm just, like, straight not having fun, I'm not gonna play it. This isn't 1991 anymore, you know. I've got plenty of games. I can play something else. A real old man sentence. This isn't 1991 anymore. Look, whenever I was 5, you had to make deal with what you had, right? Like, I was too young to have a job. That's a good thing. I shouldn't joke about it, you know. They wouldn't let me have a job whenever I was 5, and that's good. You say always other things to be done levels. Yeah, for sure. I think I just broke a suspicious gravel. Feels bad. Yeah, like I did a gauntlet a few bits ago, and that was cool. You know, and we got to a part where it got sort of too hard, but, like, I really enjoyed looking at those and, you know, learning them. And there's a billion Gauntlet levels, but... Hollow Knight, yeah, you know, that is... I have it downloaded, and I look at it in my library all the time. Because I only have, like... I only have, like, 20 games downloaded at any given time. Because some of them are quite large. Like, I have Total War Warhammer 3, which they got a patch that dropped the game size by 30 gigs, down from, like, 110 to 77 or whatever. But it's still a lot of space, you know. But I look at it there, and I'm like, I could play it today, and then I never do. Because, like, really... doing something new is so, like... I'm not good at it, right? I tend to exhaustively overthink things, but not in a useful way. Not in a way where I, like, figure stuff up by overthinking it. Only in a way where I paralyze myself with indecision and then eventually don't do anything at all. Anyway, if you've ever heard me talk about how much I like Hamlet, you will not be surprised to know that I have been able to identify those personality traits in myself, or that I have found myself unable to do anything about them. Trail ruins are awesome. Alright, we just need to dig a little staircase up, as one does. Ow. I've been attacked. Oh, great. I have corrupted the dig site with water. It'll be okay. We will, No, I said we will solve the problem. There we go. And then we'll divert the water flow there. There, right? Yes. Now, none of this is going to help me get out of here. Which, I'm literally the worst. How can I fail to go up? Oh, right, because I keep on running into water. But yeah, because Hollow Knight is like a... sort of... what's the term? Metroidvania. And I do love Metroid. And I do love Castlevania. I didn't have Metroid, but I did play a large amount of Metroid in my day. Not like a ton, but a lot. But my family, we had Castlevania 1, 2, and 4. And 2, Simon's Quest was like not at all like a normal Castlevania, but I still liked quite a lot. But... I played a bunch of Castlevanias. They were not a game that I played only because we happened to own them. I thought they were awesome. I liked them so much. But it's sort of like a... yeah, like a modern Metroidvania, so like just like stylistically like that, but you know, with, from what I understand it, like a fair amount of like gameplay complexity and stuff and, you know, difficulty and so on. But I haven't played it or like watched any of it, but I've had, you know, people talk to me about it because you know how other people are like, hey, how are you? How's the family? Blah, blah, blah. Is your girlfriend? Well, I'm always like, hey, what video games have you been playing? You know, because I figure, why not ask people a question where I care about the answer? and and so I often hear stuff about games, which I like, you know, because I don't really like read game journalism or whatever. So I basically only hear about stuff from word of mouth. Or if it's on sale on Steam. Or if I get it in a Humble Bundle, which is my preferred way to get a game. Just every month I get 8 games, and sometimes they change my life. My very favorite Humble Bundle game ever is Total War Warhammer, because that game has given me, you know, 1,000 hours plus of personal playtime enjoyment, and then I've also watched, like a lot of it. At least a couple thousand hours of Total War. It's one of the... I don't play competitive. I don't play PvP even. I haven't played a single game of Total War multiplayer, but I've watched thousands of matches probably. Like a whole lot. It's one of my primary things I do, you know, like whenever I get home from work and I'm like eating some food or whatever, I pull up a Total War Warhammer tournament. I've been watching, it's Total War Warhammer 3 now, but I've been playing since, and watching since the first one. Or rather, the Humble Bundle probably came out when Total War 2 came out. I didn't get it immediately. I played like a couple hundred hours of the first one, and then I bought 2. So I guess it would have been right there at the end. But I did watch a bunch of Total War 1 tournaments. But, you know, that's how they got me, because then I ended up spending, just so much money on Total War Warhammer. Look, I play Warhammer 40k, right, on the tabletop, so... hey, Super Dean. Warhammer's very expensive. If anybody tries to conceal that from you, they're not your friend. So, you know, spending a bunch of money on the video game version of Warhammer is sort of, like, reasonable, but it's not like... I don't perceive it as, like, a problematic structure of microtransactions, but it's a whole lot of them. They're all, like, DLC. They're not, like, cosmetic nonsense, but, you know. It's a game series that spans 3 different things, but you can get, like... You can play the factions from earlier games in the new game, but only if you purchased that game or the relevant DLC and so on. So, if you were a new player that was trying... Why? If you were a new player that was trying to get, you know, into the game and you wanted to get every faction for some reason, it would just be so much money. I don't know how much, several $100s, but like a lot. You know, far more than like, oh, I bought a game type of money. More like I just bought a Nintendo Switch, the first one, type of thing. But you know, I spread it out over many years and 1,000 hours of playtime, but it's still, you know, I never want to give too glowing of a review to something with that high of a barrier of entry. But I love Total War Warhammer. And certainly you can watch it without giving any money to anyone. The guy I watch is called Turin. He doesn't know who I am. I'm just a big fan. But he's old. He's like me, you know. He's probably like a year or 2 within my age, so he's always making references that, you know, people my age would make, and I think it's pretty fun. But he's like, I believe he's the preeminent caster of multiplayer Total War Warhammer, so so if you've even played the game, you've probably already heard of him. You know, he's got, you know, I think like 180,000 subs or something like that, but I always think about doing commentary for Total War Warhammer, even though, like, I haven't played any of the multiplayer. I'm like, can you learn enough about something by watching it to give good commentary on it? I mean, I think so, right? And I've seen some of the dudes on TV talking about sports. Like, they're not... Just because they were good at playing it doesn't mean they're good at talking about it. Turin is, incidentally, a very solid competitive player himself. But anyway, like I said, he doesn't know who I am. I just have watched like 1,000 of his videos. Day 594. But I know I talk about this all the time, but I really do love real-time strategy commentary. Whenever I started this channel 11 years ago, that's what I thought I was gonna do. That was all I watched. That was the only genre of YouTube video that I watched, right? Like, that was the only thing I watched for gaming or anything else. I only watched StarCraft and Warcraft 3 audio commentary of competitive play. That was my jam. And I would always be like, man, I should do that. I should do it. I've never played a single game of either of these in multiplayer, but I love the commentary so much, I bet I could do a good job. Which is bonkers. But I still believed it. And I never even made a single video. I never even tried to. But anyway, that was what the original plan was. Although this time coming back to YouTube, the plan was to play Minecraft. It was also to play a bunch of other stuff, but my return to YouTube was in this era. Me picking up Minecraft feels like a long time ago. Although it was just like a little over a month, like a month. No, a little over a month. A little over a year ago. A year and a week ago. A month ago. Yeah, right. No. We're all grown up compared to then. But I desperately need to play something new, right? Like, I keep talking about doing it. Hollow Knight's a good contender. Is that, or maybe Subnautica, or maybe something? You know, I could just do it, right? I could just play something. But then again, in a very similar sense, I couldn't. I couldn't possibly do that. That would be being a normally functioning human being, which is something I have never threatened to be, not even once, you know. They can't pin that on me. Because it's like, in my heart, I want to be somebody who plays a bunch of games, like, because games are art, right? You know, and I don't want to just obsess over one piece of art, and yet that is who I am. I do that, and I don't want to, you know, you don't want to deny your nature, right? Like, I love doing the tranquility of repetition thing, right? Like, that is enjoyable for me, but I also, like, I feel so good whenever I play something new, especially something that's been recommended, you know, and that I've put off, like, when I finally played Stardew Valley, or Celeste, or Hades, like, or Minecraft, like, every single game I've played in the last year has basically been wonderful. Red Dead Redemption 2, like all stuff that I knew was going to be great and that I put off for one reason or another. And I'm so happy to have finally not put it off anymore. I need to make a chest. So instead of doing that, we're going to put arrows onto the ground? Question mark? Why am I carrying leather boots? Oh, a skeleton. That makes sense. Now I get it. We should have chests down here. We don't. We should. You say sometimes when you can't make decisions, you just flip a coin. Well, that is a way to do it, an elegant way to do it, perhaps. My favorite video game is Final Fantasy VI, and there are a couple very important plot points that involve flipping a coin, and they are what I think about. I'm being attacked by a fiery zombie. Alright, everything's better now. Have they dropped a potato? Oh, they were just trying to invite me to a baked potato festival. Well, don't I feel foolish? The casual cruelty of it all. We're just gonna go over here and throw the boots. Because we don't need them. Oh yes, sweet berries, that's right. We will, hit them with fortune, probably. That might... Yeah. We're just gonna harvest these sweet berries and then probably plant some more while we're working, because we need a bunch. I'm building like a... We're building like natural defenses for our house, because I figured, you know, hey, if we're gonna live there for a while, especially as like we become more prominent as like the local liaison for the Council of Gas and all, like there could be reprisals, so we're gonna want more defenses. So we're gonna have like a nice little sweet berry barrier, sweet barrier, if you will. But now that we farmed some, we're just gonna do a couple of lines of them, question mark, yes. You know, this spruce will be in the way of it. Wait, you can eat them? Marvelous! Alright, we'll just see if they'll grow there well enough. You and your family played Final Fantasy IV on the Wii? Nice. I loved 4. I was so happy and excited when my family got it. Because I got the first one, whenever I was young. It's like how I learned to read, really. Like, you know, I could read a little bit, but like Final Fantasy is how I learned how to read. I got it for my 5th birthday. And it was, you know, it was my favorite thing in the world. I'd become obsessed with it from just like looking at like pictures in Nintendo Power and like being like, this is the coolest game ever. This is the one I want. You know, swords and magic and all that. I thought then and think now that that is the coolest sort of thing that you can do in a game is swords and magic and stuff. But digging a hole is definitely a close second. but my elementary school was having one of those, like school festival things. I don't know. I imagine all schools have them, where you go like at nighttime and the different classrooms, there's a little cakewalk thing and there's like fundraiser elements, but there's the bake sale or whatever, and you go and do the thing, pin the various games and whatnot. And anyway, my family got Final Fantasy IV, called Final Fantasy II in those days. It was the cartridge on Super Nintendo. I'm old, so that's really what I called it, was 2 for the longest time. But we had gotten it, and I was like, I do not want to go to this school festival thing. I only want to go sit in this house where we live and play Final Fantasy II. And shockingly, that's what I got. So they're like, well, if you don't want to go to this thing where we're going to spend money getting you stuff and you want to hang out and do this thing that we've already spent money on, that's fine. And I'm like, well, good. Let me do that forever. They didn't. They would continue to make me do stuff. I don't know. Look, when you're me and you don't want to play baseball, you want to play Final Fantasy, it can be unpleasant. Anyway, there's no one to make me play baseball anymore, which I find very nice. Have I heard about a recently released game about digging a hole in your backyard? No, I have not. Seems right up my alley. There's like 3 suspicious gravels right here. We get a little wayfinder trim. I was just about to say we haven't found another disc in ages, but there we go. We find one. Of course, we already got one the other day. You say you're a potato? I don't know. I don't know if I believe you. For in fact, what is potato? Surely one person can't encapsulate all of it. It's too, deep and bewildering a concept. Say the silence is loud. I'm sorry. I'll start talking again. So how about granite? Hey, we found another pillar here, another room. Sometimes you can think that you're done, but you just gotta dig a little deeper. No, we wouldn't have thought so, because we still had like cobblestone to clear right there. Yeah, we always were gonna find it. This gravel is suspicious. Yellow dye, looks like it. It's not very suspicious after all. Alright. Day 595. Oh no, suspicious gravel is broken. Alright, here's some. Some nice light blue dye, you never know when you'll need it. I mean, I need it now. I need to go and get my sheep less blue and more of the colors that I need wool of. But... right now we have to dig. I mean, we don't have to. No one asked me to do this. They asked if I was going to. Hey, Natasha. Oh no! Alright, so we have destroyed a cobblestone block there. We're just gonna put another one there and no one will ever know this happened. Fortunately, a lack of documentary evidence will prevent anyone from ever knowing this has occurred. We will just get to brushing some gravel. Ooh, a pottery shard! That's going in the vault. Oh, and you can get living wheat seeds, which I guess are like definitely not gonna cause a zombie apocalypse. Flower pots, man, they're really trying to make you decorate stuff, huh? You know, maybe if we plant that wheat seed, that'll be the one that takes over the world. We shouldn't joke about that. Wheat taking over an entire Minecraft world is a real problem, and at least one person suffers from it. Although suffering might be putting it a little strongly. Alright, so... while we're on the topic, we weren't, but I was looking at it. We need mud. We need so much mud. So how do I do it? You get water bottles and then you put it on dirt and then it turns into into mud, but that is so laborious. And, you know, it's really not ideal that we use cobblestone there to patch the wall, given that that is the whole, all the cobblestone here is supposed to be natural, so we'll just go ahead and do that. Yeah, the peaceful Minecraft world, after a year of life has sent into the hardcore world, it's infection seed. Yeah, because I had made some in my peaceful world, but yeah, it's like you have dirt blocks, you pour water from a water bottle onto them, and then you can break it. Like, that's so obnoxious. But the mud bricks look very excellent, right? Like, they look so excellent. And we might just have to, make a bunch of it anyway. Not just to complete this place, but also, so for Archaeologast, which is definitely going to be the name of that ghast, for Archaeologast, his little seat of the, why did I do that? Of the council, will be, a little miniature trail ruin tower. And so we'll need a bunch of mud bricks for that as well. But we'll just use this as the model. We might just build like a full-size one. I mean, it wouldn't be too much terracotta, right? Like, I actually really like these colors with the purple, yellow, red, and then we'll do like some glaze pattern that's more dramatic for it. And you need wheat to make it dry. Yeah, the straw to the bricks, yes. Look, I've seen the Ten Commandments so many times. If you haven't seen the film, that wouldn't make sense, maybe. So there's a part where the Pharaoh makes an edict that the Hebrews have to make bricks without straw, and a bunch of characters are like, "How can you make bricks without straw?" And I believe I said that the last time I realized that you needed straw to make it as well. Anyway, I've seen that movie, so many times. More than 100, right? Because in my house growing up, on Sundays, for a long time, we could only, watch, movies that were, religious in nature, right? So, the other days of the week were, whatever, but on Sunday it had to be, something religious. But the Ten Commandments, starring Charlton Heston, totally counted, because it's like a biblical story, and was very, awesome and epic. Oh, and also musicals. But not like the Disney ones, but like Rodgers and Hammerstein stuff, most of them. So, but interestingly, I, still like both of those things. So, that's why I've seen, The Sound of Music so many times. Because, it was one of the things we were allowed to watch on Sunday. And we all liked it, so by mutual agreement, we would watch it. Because I come from a very large family, so it was much more of a democratic system of determining entertainment on days like that when everyone was home. Which is also why I was so resentful of everyone, because, their desires would get in the way of my desire to play video games. But it's explained to me that one day I would grow up, if I was lucky, and I wouldn't have to worry about sharing my screen time anymore. And oh boy, were they ever right. It's great. I never have to care about what other people want me to do with my time. I mean, unless I'm, at work, which doesn't count. They pay me there. All of which is to say, The Ten Commandments, starring Charlton Heston. What a weird movie. Was there wool inside of that? No, it was clay. Interesting. I guess it does make sense. It's this is what you would need to make the terracotta. These are the dyes you would need to make the terracotta, etc. Danger, pottery shard. Good. We need more of those for our collection. Hey, grindstone! Back in the day, I would not have known that was a job block at all. like, very earnestly tried to determine what was going on with, like, the presence of, like, because in my other one there's a cauldron in this one too. My other trail rune that I found in my my survival world. But I didn't know that villagers, like, jobs were assigned to them or anything, so I was trying to, like, you know, come up with cultural and social reasons that these blocks should exist in the places that they were. That video got a lot of very fun comments of people that were cheerful about my ignorance, and it was a good time. Ow, why would I do that? Why? With all of the things that are possible in the world, would I do that thing? It's not important, I shouldn't even ask. This ruin seems somewhat more elaborate than the other one. Ah, maybe not. Maybe if this is all of it, then it's not. Well, we'll just, you know, we'll do a bunch of excavation, and then if it ends up being, you know, much more expensive, then we'll see where that leads us. Of course, this could be like a whole other room here. Alright, where are my torches? Oh, in the hotbar. Brilliant! Oh, I don't have any sticks. I'm always finding myself having these problems. Inventory management in the middle of an excavation. Worst nightmare. Sticks! Alright, nightmare averted. More bricks? More bricks! We found more stuff. How exciting. This one looks like it's a whole bunch of terracotta. There we go. Continuing the road. Little brush here. And we got a Shaper armor trim. Pretty sure I've seen that one before, but not in this world. I think that's one we found. Ooh, another room! Or a continuation of this room. But which one is that? That one's red. The shadow makes it look okay. The shadow made it look very vivid. I was like, ooh, we found like a fuchsia terracotta room. Hey Minikman, how's it going? What's up? We are meeting expectations here, playing Minecraft, excavating this ruin. It's going great. The day is 596. And I'm gonna have to make the difficult decision very soon whether or not to stop this stream and prepare for the party, or prepare for the party right now. Because, you know, there has to be a party. You gotta have a day 600 party. If we don't, then day 400 and 500 will feel like they're special. You know, they are, but not more special than day 600. That doesn't even make sense, right? But I have been meaning to do another one of these since, you know, since I ruined the first one. I was, you know, I mean, I was doing my thing, you know. Ruined is a very strong word. I was doing my thing. I was having fun. There were strong internal reasons for me to behave the way that I was behaving. The fact that I broke most of the site is related, but not, like, you know, disqualifying. But this time we're gonna do it differently, and of course we died in that one hardcore world where we had been working on it a little bit, and then I you know, didn't come back to it again for some time. But that's what we're doing now, returning after some time. You spent like 100 days building a museum around your trail run? Nice. Yep. I guess my museum is more the concept of a museum. It's open air, you know. It's got a glass wall that looks into the ocean, and I made a little 2x2 of the various glazed terracotta colors, you know. That was my museum. Oh, also, I broke most of the stuff, and I didn't get a single artifact from the whole place because I didn't even know brushes existed. Like I said, I was doing my thing. I was enthusiastic, and I was having fun learning about Minecraft. That I didn't learn everything at once is okay. And after all, there are plenty more trail ruins for me to find. This one just being the one that we're finding now. If something happens to this one, or to me, we can always find another one later. Life is very long. This one's a lot quicker going than the one I made in my other world, because I have proper tools. I would have done the bulk of the other one with stone and maybe a little bit of iron on a pickaxe, but definitely not diamond tools, and certainly not enchanted tools. I was so young. I didn't know anything then. No, not my pork chops. That's madness. The trees are kind of interfering with the visibility, and by kind of, I mean significantly. So they have to go. We fell straight down. I guess you have to hit space with the elytra to begin flying. Dog! Hello, dog. Have a pork chop. Good old dog. I think it's common knowledge, but in case it's not, I'll make sure to point it out. So, like, if you do meet a dog and you have a lot of cooked pork chops, it's totally okay to give the dog a pork chop. Some people might say, no, don't do that. Maybe the dog doesn't like pork chops. Just give the dog a pork chop. Take the pork chop out of your pockets where you keep your 32 pork chops. Give the dog a pork chop. Be a gentleman. Like, what, you're really not going to share a pork chop with a good old dog that you found in a forest? Ridiculous, you know. You gotta take a good look at yourself in the mirror if you think you need all 32 of those pork chops yourself. Now, as to why you would keep them in your pockets, obviously, like, maybe you'll need them. Or maybe you'll meet 31 dogs. You might think this is unlikely, but this is the sort of stuff you have to be prepared for as an adventurer. Because there could be an arbitrarily large, but still real number of dogs, and they all might need pork chops. And are you going to be the one who doesn't give them to them? Is that going to be your legacy as an adventurer? The guy that didn't have enough pork chops for the good dogs that they found? Couldn't be me. No way. Pickaxe is getting low. Alrighty then. So this has gone awesome. Super good progress with it. Got all the items that we needed, being the disc. Bunch of fun stuff. Still a lot to do. It's a larger ruin than the other one that I had found, I think. But we will see. We'll try to do a solid job of, you know, filling in the gaps. We actually could just like start filling in these gaps here. There's no reason to prevent it, you know, when they're just like a hole in the pathway. Although you do want to excavate it, obviously, first to make sure that you're not missing anything. We could, you know, remake it with the bricks instead of the cobblestone, you know, with just a cobblestone here or there to tell the story of what happened before. We're going to go ahead and break that. It doesn't need to be hanging in the air there. A lonely ladder midway through a wall. Just normal construction stuff. Yep, it looks like a beautiful trail ruin, you know. You got some there, you got some there. Probably gonna do what we did in the other world, in my survivor world, and just like knock back a ways into the river and set up a wall. Alright, what do we want to bring home with us? Saplings. Yeah, you know, we don't really need to bring any of this, so we'll just leave it. Yep, yeah. We can always come back for it later. These we do need. Oh yeah, we gotta... Alright, yeah, that just about, like a 3.5x or so in a couple of days of growth, so excellent. Should be enough sweet berries, and if not, we'll just, you know, take them home and then cut them down, set them up again. Oh look, a pillager tower is still burning. Weird. Wonder how that could have happened. Nobody knows. Sweet berries for a lifetime. Well, you know, if we're using them for a protective layer around the house, you know, where does it all end? In one of my wheat videos a long time ago, someone was like, I did a thing like this a long time ago with sweet berries. And I was like, that is awesome. Then I was like, but they hurt you. You won't even be able to run through your field. Oh, you pick them. Oh. Oh, yeah. You right-click them, and then they... Right. I didn't know you could do that. Is there other stuff in this game that I could have been doing with that? Like, is it just the berries? I hope it is. No, Natasha, I did not know that. Well, you know, you may recall that you've never seen me grow a sweet berry ever. I don't know if I have, actually. If I have, I've certainly not grown like 10 of them, you know. I've always bashed them and put them into a chest somewhere and maybe eaten one or two along the way. But no, that's really cool, you know. It's a perpetual food source. Because if you think about it, too, like, by general timelines, I don't spend tons of time in a taiga in my hardcore worlds. You know, there's that one where we died to the witch, right? Because where I thought there was a time when Garuda was going to get eaten by that fox when we were trying to relocate, but then we ended up just dying. That one. You remember. That one. But that would have been, like, one of the only times where we were even around sweet berries before food would have been sort of sorted out, you know. Because once you get a couple hundred pork chops, you just go and find your chest of pork chops, you know. But in addition to being, you know, a little bit of hostile ground for zombies, they look really pretty. Like, they look awesome, and the colors absolutely perfectly go with, you know, the evil decorations, right? The green and the red echo on the green and the red bookshelves. Like, they match well against the land and the sky and the wall. Oh yes, good stuff. Hey, and we still have a couple hundred of them left. Ah, Cornelius. What a happy little guy. It's getting a little crowded up here, so we're just gonna take Gorman on a little ride. We don't have a proper area for him yet, but he can hang out, you know. He can be the first. I need to make a whole Gorman gas castle. Oh, but it would be heartbreaking to make one here. I could just be careful and never die, right? Like, why? I could do that. And here, Gorman can hang around as he always was meant to, in a happy little warped forest with a big old lake of cool, clean water here in the Valley of the Council of Ghasts. It's gonna look so good in like 10 years when I'm done with it. Oh, look how pleased he is to be over the lake. That reminds me, we should make more of a lake up here for Augustus. I mean, they've got like the waterfall, and obviously the water's all around, but we're not gonna do it right now. Well, yeah. The sun rises on day 598. I guess for showmanship's sake, right? We should try to end it around now, and then we could like schedule the day 600 celebration. So like if more people wanted to make it out live or whatever, maybe, I don't know. I guess doing it on day 599 would make more sense. Yeah, we'll do one more day. One more day, so another 10 minutes or so of video. But I'll be right back. Alright. But yeah, I guess we gotta Gotta start making our preparations, right? Which are, what? Cake? Yeah, that's it. And then we could just make like a row of cakes. Because we only did the first cake for day 400, right? And yeah, we can just yeah, so like here for 100, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we'll just do a cake for 6, you know, and we'll just keep on. And before y'all know it, we'll be like all the way over here with cakes. We're gonna have a line of cakes all the way to the trail room we've been excavating. You'll see. You'll all see. Maybe I'll never die again. I'd like to believe that. But you can always just fall through the air. It's not bad if you're over an ocean. And you shall know us by the trail of our cake. Alright, we're just gonna like deposit some stuff here. There we go. Now there are 2 of them. Just a little bit of planting wheat. You know, I don't know very much about that, but I try to do my best whenever the situation calls for it. Good old Hank. Hello, Archie. Yeah, we've totally misplaced Leo. No idea where he went off to. Now the noble four turtles are down to just a handful. You know, even the unnamed ones are disappearing. Are they all getting struck by lightning? These are questions. But we're not going to settle them today. We are going to swim around in the lake, you know, because why not? I always said 3 rockets there. That is disappointing. Let me out! Alright, I don't actually know how this works. Do I just walk out of it? Okay. Such a nice little world. And now that we're finally working on stuff, you know, it looks cooler all the time, I think. You know, we need to work on the Bat Cave. Maybe we could make some genuine progress on that, including figuring out where it's going to be. I mean, I think the logical thing is for it to be like right here, right? Just build a full-size beacon like right here. Or lower, I don't know how the z-axis for beacons go. But just build a full-size beacon and just mine the daylights out of it and build an awesome bat cave for the Bat Gasmobile to live in. But of course there's also the other miniature ghast biomes to worry about. There's so many projects to do, so why don't I fight in my own flower field where I definitely don't want creepers to blow up? Why don't I do that? Oh no, I have shot the donkey. He got better. Oh, little guy in a football outfit. Not ideal. They are very hard to hit in third person. Of course, when you have perfect armor, it doesn't matter. It's very tense in the early game of hardcore, though, when you deal with a little guy. Because they are, difficult to hit. You can't, juggle them away from you that easy. And, if you have a shield, that's one thing, but they're also, quick, so it's often difficult to identify the threat before they are standing victoriously over your bones. Man, they grow so fast, don't they? They being the sweet berry moat. Garuda, the boss. He really only cares about his tribute right now. He says it's raining. Where are my seeds, Tarquinius? But now he has got them, and he feels better. Mr. Pompelou! He has been doing such a good job here. Can you feed him like an iron bar? Oh, no! Oh, no. Well, fortunately, he didn't think that I was trying to hurt him. My bow was in the offhand. I guess you can't feed him an iron bar. No, you can. You just have to hurt him first. Well, that's terrible. Anyway, we fixed him. What a monster. What a monster. Anyway, don't learn moral lessons from me. I want to see if I can fix you. Shoots. Even with all those arrows in me, it just feels like a great day. But the time draws to a close for this particular stream. Not because I'm bored of playing video games at the moment, but because I want to, I want the day 600 cake celebration to be more deliberate. It'll be scheduled at least a couple of hours in advance. I'll probably schedule it for tomorrow, and then just force myself to play stuff that's not Minecraft hardcore until we do the celebration. But anyway, let's all just have a little dance party with Luca. I invite you to sit, stand, or kneel for the national anthem, Other Side by Leaner Bane. The rain falls. Everything feels so good. You know, this world is going excellently. I finally, like, learned how to play Minecraft, right? Apparently you can build things. Not just canals, you know. But I'm having a blast. I really like this whole gas project. You know, it's a good enough, like, concept to where I can really dig into each of the individual colors basically as much as I want, you know. If I want to do Gaston's thing and then build a little miniature or large Beauty and the Beast castle, that will both, like, make sense and be fun, you know, and thematically already fit the idea there, you know. For Archaeologast, we haven't named him yet, but we've named him internally. For Archaeologast, you know, if we want to, like, make a sculpture of an Indiana Jones hat eventually, bam, we can just make it over there. If we do, you know, Polargast, if, you know, we want to do a little polar bear enclosure, then bam, easy. He could be the one who lives the furthest north. I hadn't decided if I wanted to do Polargast as a name yet. It's sort of like... It's sort of good. I think it's probably good. Look, if you have to get 16 gas names, some of them are going to be Polargast. Because, like, Poltergast is too easy. But is it? You know? We could build a very large cupboard for them to live in. Atropa. I'm so glad she's back. Luca's having the biggest party. I should fix my staircases for the day 600 party. As part of that, because we need one that goes up, one that goes down, and one that goes nowhere. This is very important. I just say the paragraph. Yeah, you know, Luca is a great one for dancing. He enjoys the majesty of dance, and you know, when it comes time to get the job done, he's the first one to put his hands up and throw down. His bird wings are always ready to flap at the enemies of the Dark Oak crime family. But anyway, that's all I've got for you right now. I'm gonna, you know, get something to eat and then play some other game. Who knows what it'll be. But anyway, perhaps I'll see you there. If you're watching in the future, I hope the weather's nice. Right now, it is oppressively hot outside. I don't even like looking out the window at it, but that doesn't matter, because I don't have to go outside today, and I'm not going to. But, yeah, so, see you guys later on. The next hardcore video will be the day 600 party for the world. It should be at least a couple hours in advance. I'll try to think of a time to properly schedule it, but, you know, hopefully I'll be able to see you guys there. If not, maybe you'll catch a VOD on it or whatever. Bye, Natasha. Bye, Archie. Bye, Super Dean. Bye, Minikman, if you're around. Goodbye, everyone. And, yeah, I should be back on with the stream probably in an hour and a half or two. We'll find something to play tonight. Maybe something new, maybe something old. But not this, because we'll try to schedule the party in advance. Anyway, that's all I've got for you right now. See you guys.